Joseph is put in prison soon because God was with him, promoted. He now has the keys to the entire prison, runs the prison. A butler and a baker get thrown into the same prison that Joseph is in. One morning, he finds them downcast and asks these two men what's going on. The baker looks at him and says, well, I had a dream, and this is my dream. And Joseph, who was a dreamer, now receives the grace to interpret dreams. He says to the baker, tell me your dream. He gives him the interpretation and tells him, in 3 days' time, you're going to be reinstated back to your position. You're going to serve the Pharaoh again. Genesis 40, verse 14, Joseph looks at the baker and he says, please remember me. Do me a favor when things go well for you. Mention me to Pharaoh, so he might let me out of this place. For I was kidnapped from my homeland, the land of the Hebrews, and now I'm here in prison. But I did nothing to deserve it. Now, the Bible does not make record of the response of the baker there. But I can guarantee you, the baker looked at Joseph and said, my man, Joseph, anything for you, dude. The moment I'm out of here, your name is going to be on my lips. The first name Pharaoh's going to hear as soon as he gets his cup of wine for dinner is Joseph. All right, you take care, Joseph. I'll see you on the other side, he says. Joseph, after having this interaction with the cupbearer, goes back to his cell, packs up his bags, gets it ready, gives himself a clean shave, says, well, I'm ready. When someone's going to knock on my prison door, and I'm going to be out of here. He waits that night, nothing happens. Morning comes, and he thinks to himself, these are governmental things. It takes time. He has to go from this table to that table to that table. He has to sign off. I know how Egypt operates. Let's give it a day. He waits another day, nothing happens. Another day goes by, nothing happens. And the Bible tells us something that Joseph did not know. In verse 23, the Bible says, the chief baker never gave Joseph another thought. He forgot all about him. 2 years go by. 2 years. That's not a short amount of time. That's 780 nights that he had to sleep in that prison. That's 11,680 hours that he had to draw on the wall, and nothing happened. Here, Joseph thought as soon as he put in the word to the baker, his deliverance was coming. And for 2 years, everything stood still for Joseph. Here's what I want to observe. If you paid attention to the language of Joseph when he was speaking to the cupbearer, in verse 14, if you just underline me and my, it's 4 times. In just that one phrase, Joseph is using me, my problem, mention me, my hardship, my homeland. And what happened was there was a shift that happened in Joseph's life. Joseph suddenly, when he saw this man of influence, began to put his trust in this man rather than in his God. He thought that this man could help him get out of his predicament, so he pours out his heart to this guy. And the God who is watching this looks down and he says, Joseph, now you gotta wait 2 more years, Joseph. You know why? Because God said, if Joseph is delivered from this prison tomorrow, the first thing he will do is he'll write a thank you letter to this baker. Say, thank you for what you did for me. And God says, Joseph, I don't want the name of the baker on your lips. I want my name on your lips. I want the glory of your deliverance. I want to be glorified through your life. So I'm going to put you here a little longer. A lot of times this happens in our lives too. When we begin to look to man for help rather than to God. When we look to man to sort things out for us, to give us the job that we want, to give us this benefit or this favor that we're looking for. And as children of God, this is something we got to be very careful about. Our help and our favor, our deliverance comes from God. The time that you spend looking to man for favor, if you spent it on your knees praying, greater things can happen sooner in our lives. A lot of times we exert so much pressure and work in trying to meet the right people, in putting the word to the right person to try to get things done in our life. What we're forgetting is true upliftment, true deliverance. God is in charge of all those things, not man. God is the one who's responsible for your situation. God is the one who's responsible to change your situation. As children of God, our faith should always be upon the maker of heaven and earth, not upon man who fails, who forgets, not upon man who cannot give us the true deliverance that we're looking for.